guys, it's Steph here and welcome back to my channel and welcome to another Books Beside My Bed video. Today is my reading wrap up for the week of the 4th to the 10th of March, and I have to say it was a pretty good reading week. I read 5 books plus the next 50-ish chapters of Frankenstein. I read a total of 1,447 pages and my yearly reading total is up to 39 books. First of all, a really quick update on Frankenstein because I realised this week that, made a tiny bit of a mistake with saying I was reading 3 chapters a week. Really what it is that I'm doing is I am reading 50 pages a week because the book is about 200 pages long. What I didn't realise was that it was broken up into volumes and that each volume had different numbers of chapters, whereas I just sort of really quickly flipped through to see what the last chapter number was and then divided it up that way. So that was a mistake on my part. So I'm reading 50 pages a week, so hopefully that will help some people. I will mark the pages in the videos so that you guys know exactly what it is that I'm reading. It just so happened that the first 3 chapters of volume 1 turned out to be about 50 pages. So that was just pure coincidence and helped to reinforce my misconception as usual. So I apologise for any confusion, but that's basically what's happening if you are participating in the read along. Now into the books. So the first book that I read this week was a short story / novella that I received from NetGalley as an e-arc for review, and that is Stripped by Tara Andrews. This, I believe, is self-published or it's published via the Kindle store. It was published in 2017, I believe in September last year, and I gave it 3.5 out of 5 stars. It is a romance story set in Las Vegas. It follows the romance between Malcolm, who is a male dancer, and Beck, who is in between jobs at the moment, and they have this sort of almost meet cute moment where Malcolm hits the back of her car and then pursues her, and it is about how they sort of try and build a relationship through Beck's insecurities about him being a male dancer and Malcolm's desire for her, but also his desire to step up in the world. So it's very much like Magic Mike, pretty much, and it's only 180 pages or something like that, so it's a really quick and easy read. It was really fun, it was lighthearted, that's exactly what I needed on a Sunday afternoon when I read it, so 3.5 stars from me. The second book that I read this week was Lila by Fleur Beale. This is published by Allen & Unwin. It was released this year and I gave it 4.5 out of 5 stars. It is part of the Through My Eyes Disaster Zones collection, and I'm going to read you the little blurb that Allen & Unwin sent me to explain this sort of series. So Lila is the 3rd book in a new series of Through My Eyes, exploring natural disaster zones and paying tribute to the courage and resilience of children who are often the most vulnerable in disaster situations. So the 2 previous books are Hotaka and Shauzen, and they were published in March and August 2017 respectively. This is the 2nd series of Through My Eyes books that Allen & Unwin has published. The first one, I believe, were stories set in war zones, and they all follow stories of children living through these different situations. Lila takes place in New Zealand and follows the title character Lila as she and her family live through the series of earthquakes that shake Christchurch, and it shows how she and her family deal with it, as well as her local community. It deals with friends and family going in different directions. It deals with post-traumatic stress, and it was really just a wonderful eye-opening read, and these would be great for middle grade readers, particularly in schools when you can unpack it a little bit more. Highly recommend this. I want to try and pick up some more in the series. I think my school library has a few of them, so I'm going to try and get a few of them and read them and let you guys know what I think. The next 2 books that I read are books 1 and 2 in the Themis Files by Sylvain Novelle, and that is Sleeping Giants and Waking Gods, and I love these books. You can see how much I love them. I actually listened to the audiobooks for both of these books while I was reading. So I had the book in front of me and I was listening to the audio. The audio was fantastic because it's a full cast narration and I highly recommend that. But I quite liked listening and reading the book at the same time. These books were published in 2016 and 2017 respectively by Penguin Michael Joseph. I gave them both 5 out of 5 stars. They're fantastic. They're science fiction books. They are told in a really interesting format where the majority of the story is told through interviews. So different characters are interviewed by this sort of unnamed main character who is with us through the books. There's also a few little journal entries / logs from a couple of the characters, and that helps move the pace of the story on. For those of you who are unfamiliar with these books, in Sleeping Giants, an 11-year-old girl falls into a hole and lands in a giant metal hand buried beneath the earth. Years later, she's grown up and she finds herself studying this metal hand and speculating on what it is, who built it, where it comes from, etc. And basically the series goes from there. And I can't say anything else without spoiling it, because to talk about it is to talk about the amazing sort of world and story that comes out of it. And I really don't want to spoil anyone, because I think this is well worth going into blind and starting from there. I would highly recommend the audios because the full cast really brings all of the characters to life, and I think it would have been a much different reading experience had I read it without the audio the first time. So next time I go back, I'll actually have these voice actors in my head while I'm reading it. And then lucky last, I read The Bells by Danielle Clayton. This is the YA Rooms book of the month, so I will be going to book club to talk about this. This will also feature in a video on Wednesday where I defaced the cover of Bells underneath the dust jacket. Here, you get a sneak peek. But I had an absolute ball defacing the cover of this, because this cover is really gorgeous, but underneath it was sort of an off-white color and I didn't like it, so it's now colorful. The Bells is a 2018 release from Freeform Books. I gave it 4 out of 5 stars. It's sort of this magical realism story with a bit of dystopian thrown in. I don't know, and a bit of fantasy. It's sort of hard to define. What I can say is that this entire book made me feel tense from the moment I started reading it, because I was just waiting for something horrible to happen. It is quite a dark book for a young adult novel, and it deals with quite a lot of things. For those of you who haven't heard of it, in the world of Orleans, everyone is born grey. So everyone is born in shades of grey, red eyes, very washed out hair. And there are certain individuals within this society called the Bells who are trained to bring beauty back into the world. And if you have enough money or enough tokens and enough political pull, you can be made beautiful with colour and whatnot through the attentions of the Bells. The whole way through, there's something just off about it. So we learn some things about the Bells, but not everything. And you know, you can just tell that there's more going on than meets the eye. Camille is aiming to be the favourite Belle in the court and wants to be chosen by the Queen as the favourite so that she can enjoy power and status and continue to do her work as the Belle. Things don't go quite to plan, and when she does find herself in the court, things are not as they seem, and yes, that's where it gets quite dark. So, highly recommend this one. I'm looking forward to talking about it at book club because, yeah, anything I want to say now is sort of spoilery, and I don't tend to do spoilers in these videos, but I did really enjoy it. So those are my physical books that I read this week, plus a little bit more of this. And I'm hoping to get to at least 2 or 3 more books in the coming week, as well as the next 50 pages of Frankenstein. I seem to have picked up quite a few NetGalley e-arcs, which I wasn't supposed to do, but I may have clicked request buttons a few times. So I've got more of those, as well as the ones that I was trying to read through that were in my TBR video. Oops. Let me know in the comments, what are you currently reading? I hope that wherever you are in the world, you are having a fabulous week, and I will catch you guys in my next video. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you on Wednesday. Bye guys.